What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video will be the first video in a new series I've been wanting to make for a while now. I ran a poll on the channel asking what kind of build guides people wanted to see, and overwhelmingly people wanted to see build guides where I use only pre-raid gear. So that's what I'm going to do, starting with this build guide today. The low tide crit healing wave build is super strong, and I designed this spec to carry you through Mythic Dungeons to hopefully get you geared enough to get into those flex and heroic raids. A link to the build and the macros I use while playing can be found down in the description. If you like what I do here and want to support me and my content in other ways, I have launched a Patreon page for the channel. You can find a link to it down in the description. Remember that it only takes a few seconds, but subscribing below and leaving a like will help get this video out to as many people as possible. Let's dive into the video. Starting things off right, let's go over the random enchants and stat priorities for this build. Making its grand debut on the channel, this build uses the legendary RE Low Tide. Everything about this RE is amazingly powerful. The free 20% crit on targets affected with your Riptide, the ability to spread that Riptide to nearby allies, and making it so the healing over time can crit makes this random enchant one of the most powerful and efficient legendaries for healing right now. The three epic REs used in this build are Nimble Mind, Pendulum, and Transcendental Embrace. Nimble Mind combined with Pendulum gives this build some much needed haste rating to get those heals off faster, and once you get below 50% mana, you get a nice boost to your crit chance as well. Transcendental Embrace is such a fantastic source of free AoE healing that really shines in smaller groups like Mythic Dungeons or 10-man raids. You could switch out Nimble Mind for Molten Mind if you want the extra healing on your crits, but I feel in lower gear levels, the mana reduction to spells and free haste from Nimble Mind is more beneficial early on. The rest of the REs for this build are as follows: 3 Healing Way, 3 Ancestral Awakening, 3 Master Conjurer, 3 Restorative Totems, and 1 Celestial Focus. Moving on to the stat priorities for this build, they are as follows: Spell Power, Crit Rating, Intellect, Haste, then Spirit. Gem all your gear for spell power and use the mystical Skyfire Diamond for your meta gem. The proc rate is fairly low for this meta gem, but when you get that haste rating, it can really save your ass in a pinch. Since this build relies so heavily on crit, you want to treat spell power and crit rating as equal in terms of power. Don't sacrifice too much of one for the other, but if you have to choose over 8 spell power or 14 crit rating, go for the crit rating. Let's go over the talent tree and spells for this build. We will go left to right, so feel free to follow along as we go over this together. Starting off over here in the Druid, the spell we take in balance is Innervate. The talent points we take here are 3 points into Dream State. Over in Restoration, the spell we grab is Rebirth. The talent points we take here are 5 points into Gift of Nature and 1 point into Wild Growth. Over in the Mage tree, the spells we grab is Blink, Mage Armor. Over in the Fire tree, the talents we take here are Pyromaniac. Over in Paladin, in Holy, we grab Beacon of Light. Over here in the Priest tree, the spells we grab here are Inner Fire. The talents we take are Power Infusion and Pain Suppression. On to the next biggest part of the build, we are over here in the Shaman tree. The spell we take here is Call of the Ancestors. The talents we take here are 3 points into Raise. Over Enhancement, we grab Flame Tongue Totem, Wrath of Air Totem, and over in Restoration, the spells we take here are Healing Wave, Tremor Totem, Healing Stream Totem, Water Shield, Totemic Recall, and Chain Heal. The talents we take here are 3 points into Improved Healing Wave, 3 points into Improved Water Shield, 3 points into Healing Focus, 1 point into Tidal Force, 3 points into Ancestral Healing, 3 points into Restorative Totems, 5 points into Tidal Mastery, 3 points into Healing Wave, 1 point into Nature Swiftness, 5 points into Purification, 2 points into Blessing of the Eternals, 3 points into Ancestral Awakening, 5 points into Tidal Waves, and 1 point into Riptide. The last points and talents we take here are over in Warlock. We grab the spell Life Tap and Drain Soul. Over in Demonology, we grab Create Firestone, and the last 2 talent points we use are 2 points into Master Conjurer. You may be wondering why I took the talent for Earth Living Weapon and didn't take the spell. Reason being is because I like the way it looks on the talent tree. It's that simple. I could put the points into another talent that gives 2% crit, but it wouldn't look as neat and tidy. I know it's a silly reason, but damn it, it's my build and I'ma do it. Now, before anyone says, oh look, another build with Healing Stream Totem, hear me out. I know that Healing Stream Totem is not the best source of healing in the game. I know it's not the most point efficient and best use of random enchant slots there can be. I know that. I never said it was the best. Simply put, it makes getting through Mythic Dungeons so much smoother than if you didn't have it. Reason being is there's a lot of smaller random hits in Mythic Dungeons than anywhere else, and if you're in a group with less experienced players, or if you're a newer healer yourself, that constant influx of healing can really help keep your group topped off without having to worry about them as much. The GCD it takes to put down totems each pull will save you so many headaches from having to waste a big healing wave crit on someone that isn't the tank. I know Ellie, healing stream is a meme, but damn it, in Mythic Dungeons it's a godsend, so we're gonna use it. Before moving any further in the video, I wanted to show you guys a snapshot of the gear that I used on this character while making this video. Starting at the top, Incanter's Cowl, Warp Engineer's Prismatic Chain, Pauldrons of Wild Magic, Baba's Cloak of Arcanistry, Worldfire Chest Guard, Worlds and Bracers, Earth Mantle Hand Wraps, Wave Song Girdle, Moonchild Leggings, Sigil Laced Boots, Scintillizing Coral Band, Riango's Band of Ingenuity, Essence of the Martyr, and forgive me if I mispronounce this, Osley's Light Channeler, the Blackstock, Fell Edge Battle Axe, and Runesong Dagger. We use Fell Edge Battle Axe over a healing offhand strictly because it's a weapon. We can apply another Firestone to it and a 40 healing power enchant. This is an extremely powerful early crit healing weapon because it has the 21 crit rating on the weapon itself, gives you that slot so you can put a gem in it and you can put those enchants on it and use the Firestone to boost your crit much higher than if you were to use a healing offhand. Just like my other build guides, we will go over the rotation and some gameplay explanation so you all can get familiar with the build. I will throw up the cast sequence macro I'm currently using to make this build as simple to play as possible. My good friend Elysian sent me this over Discord, and I gotta say, makes playing this build infinitely easier than before, so big shout out to my man, thank you again. The macro is set up this way for two reasons. First reason is that it always starts the fight off with Riptide. This sets up the low tide RE to immediately take effect and saves you from having to manage the cooldown of the skill. Secondly, the chain heal is put in the middle of the macro, so your Transcendental Embrace has a chance to gain some stacks. You won't see a 3 stack the first time around, but since there's always 4 healing waves before casting your next chain heal, the chance of you not having 2 to 3 stacks is almost non-existent. The inclusion of the chain heal in the cast sequence macro is so perfect because not only are you getting a lot of AoE healing from Ancestral Awakening, knowing that somewhere in your rotation there is a chain heal coming helps massively with keeping smaller groups topped up at all times. Combine this with Wild Growth and Healing Stream Totem, you are putting out some massive healing crits and some of the best AoE healing I've personally seen. I personally suggest running Beacon on yourself at all times in Mythic Dungeons, so you don't have to worry about wasting a heal on yourself unless you absolutely have to. As your gear progresses and you make your way into some flex and heroic raids, you can make the switch over to using an offhand healing trinket instead of the one-handed weapon. I suggest using the Fell-Edged Battle Axe to start with because it has the extra crit rating and a free socket, and having 2 Firestones on instead of 1 early on can help push your crit rating high enough to make this build really shine. I hope you guys give this build a try and see just how much fun it really can be. This might give Healing Touch a run for its money for my new favorite healing build so far. It was a blast putting this one together, and I just want to say thank you again for watching these build guides. And with that, this video is done. Subscribe below for more content. I will see you in the next one.